Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a plane landing in Spain. Will Shaw arrives eagerly for a long-awaited vacation with his family. His father, Martin, warmly welcomes him, and they head towards a waiting boat. Despite a work call interrupting, Will politely asks for a break, aware of his father's aversion to such interruptions. At their destination, Will is greeted by his mother Lori, his younger brother Josh, and Josh's girlfriend Dara, all brimming with smiles. The family eagerly anticipates a special dinner together, reminiscing about their nomadic past due to Martin's job. Lori expresses joy at having the family reunited, leading to a heartfelt toast to commence their evening. During a family outing at sea, Will's past comes up in a funny story, bringing laughter all around. But the joy is short-lived, when he gets a troubling call, his expression turning serious, spreading sadness to everyone. Eventually, he shares the news of his company going bankrupt, casting uncertainty over the family. Alone by the seaside, he reflects on the situation. At dinner, he apologizes to his dad for dampening the mood. In a heartfelt conversation, Martin also apologizes, understanding his son's struggle. The next day, tensions rise as Will remains preoccupied with his ringing phone, while out on the boat. His distraction leads to a dangerous situation, when Martin urgently asks him to steer, and a speeding motorboat nearly collides with them, and Will leaps to save his brother's girlfriend Dara from being hit. Amidst the chaos, Will's phone rings again, prompting Martin to throw it overboard, sparking a heated argument. In a bold move, Will jumps into the sea, swimming towards town to find medical supplies and peace. He takes a moment to quench his thirst by the shore. Feeling uneasy, Martin watches as the menacing speedboat passes by once more, adding to his worries. After returning back to the beach, Will can't find his family's yacht. Confused, he tries asking locals for help, but the language barrier makes it hard. He ventures into the waves, hoping a group of young people can assist, but their words are as incomprehensible as the sea's sounds. Fear grows in Will's heart, thinking his family might have left him behind. Walking along the coast, he spots the yacht drifting alone in the moonlight. Something is amiss on board. Desperate, he seeks help at the police station, but the officers seem indifferent. After finally speaking to the captain, Will's name raises concern. They set out to find the stranded yacht under the cover of night. Their search leads them to a stranger, claiming to know Will, but his offer of help seems suspicious. Will tries to flee, but is stopped by the officers. A wild chase ensues, ending in a crash. As hope seems lost, Will's father appears and saves him from further harm. Shaken but grateful, Will asks about his family, only to learn a shocking truth: Martin is a CIA agent, and their family is in danger. Martin promises to reunite them, and receives a secret message, urging them to meet. They head to a safe house, where he plans their next move. At the meeting point with their team leader Gene Carrick, Will and Martin arrive, unaware of a lurking sniper. Martin instructs Will to stay in the car, expressing pride in his son, before heading to Carrick with suspicions about the situation. Martin reveals the men they took the briefcase from had kidnapped their family, demanding its return within 24 hours. However, Carrick informs them the briefcase is missing, leaving Martin searching for a solution. As Martin returns to the car, a sniper shoots him, ending his life. Overwhelmed with shock and grief, Will crawls to his father, tears streaming down his face. The ruthless sniper, Gorman, targets Will next, but he manages to grab Martin's gun and Carrick's cell phone, escaping just in time. Desperate, he flees, encountering a police officer who aims at him. Gorman intervenes, shooting the officer, initiating a shootout. Will runs, barely evading capture, finding refuge in a park restroom, to collect himself. Disguising himself with a hat and sunglasses, he discards the gun, and orchestrates his arrest at the U.S. Embassy, to protect himself. Inside the embassy, he shares his father's tragic death, and the peril his family faced, but the official doubts him. Feeling disheartened, he leaves, and encounters Carrick, claiming to be a friend of Martin's. Despite his doubts, Will agrees to her offer of help. As they drive, she probes about Martin's connections to the briefcase, arousing Will's suspicion. Pretending to be ill, he leaps from the car, vanishing into the bustling streets. Boarding a bus, he distances himself from the city, clutching Martin's phone, which incessantly rings with the same caller. Heart-sinking, he hears his mother's voice, yearning to speak to Martin. With a heavy heart, he informs her of his father's demise, sending her into tears. The caller, indifferent to their grief, persists in seeking the briefcase. Determined, he seeks help from Diego, a friend of his father. Meeting Diego's niece Lucia at his office, Will remains cautious. However, Carrick's agents arrive, and Lucia attacks them, giving Will an opportunity to fight back and confront his adversaries. Amidst the chaos, the enemy fights fiercely. Will's strength wanes until he falls exhausted. Lucia, still on edge, aims her gun at Will, fearing he might pose a threat. Quickly, he explains their perilous situation, and pleads for her help in finding Diego. Reluctantly, Lucia agrees, and they head to Diego's apartment. Upon arrival, they find the door open, prompting Will to prepare for trouble. Inside, they discover Diego's lifeless body. Will comforts Lucia, urging her to remain silent, to avoid worsening the tense situation. Hearing a sound from the kitchen, he investigates, and finds Carrick and Gorman. Fueled by anger and desperation, he demands answers about his father's death, holding them at gunpoint. Carrick calmly reveals Martin's involvement with the briefcase led to his demise. She offers to aid Will in finding his family, but insists on learning about Martin's other connections. Suddenly, Lucia burst into the room, sparking a gunfight. Will and Lucia flee to the rooftop, pursued by Carrick and Gorman. Trapped, Will devises a plan, lowering Lucia down with a rope. However, Gorman shoots him, causing him to fall injured. Lucia finds help, while Will endures the pain, narrowly escaping further danger. They flee again, but Carrick catches up, causing a crash. As she prepares to shoot, bystanders intervene, granting Lucia and Will another chance to escape. Seeking refuge in a nightclub, Lucia pleads with a friend with medical help for Will. Despite initial hesitation, they treat Will's wound, though the bleeding proves difficult to stop, and he eventually passes out from the pain. Upon awakening, he confirms Martin's death to Lucia, who is shocked to find his picture on his phone. Lucia reveals a shocking truth: Martin was also known as Tom in Spain, and she is Will's half-sister, Martin's daughter. They board a train to reach the briefcase exchange location. Will, grappling with the revelation of Martin's secret life, decides to proceed alone, with Lucia promising to help from the nightclub. Upon arrival, a mysterious man instructs Will to act normally, and leads him to a car. Anxious for information about his family, Will questions the man, who reacts violently, leaving him unconscious. When he awakens, he is tied to a chair, facing repeated punches. Zahir, the leader, reveals himself as an Israeli Mossad agent, involved in a complex scheme to expose a corrupt CIA agent, a traitor. They realize Carrick framed Martin and she has the briefcase, so they want Will to lure her out. Will briefly sees his family, before Zahir releases him. Threatened with his family's fate, he is thrown out of the car, armed with a gun. Returning to Lucia's club, they devise a plan to trap Carrick. Their plan attracts Gorman, Carrick's associate, leading to a fierce fight. Despite Gorman's skills, they subdue him, and interrogate him harshly, desperate for information about the briefcase and the exchange. Refusing to budge, they release him, and Will follows after him, leading to an underground parking lot, where Gorman is trying to sell the briefcase. Zahir's men surround them, so Carrick kills the buyers, triggering a shootout. Will pursues Gorman, engaging in a fierce battle over the briefcase. In the midst of their struggle, a Mossad agent intervenes, shooting Gorman. Lucia's car crashes into him, causing a violent collision. As Carrick grabs the abandoned briefcase and flees, Will and Lucia chase after her in a high-speed pursuit. Despite Carrick's attempt to escape through a park, Will remains determined. Spotting her in traffic, he causes a crash. Struggling, Will and Lucia commandeer another car, with Carrick in relentless pursuit. Their intense battle ends in both cars flipping over dramatically. Carrick, holding the valuable briefcase, confronts them, but before she could act, Zahir and his agents arrive, ensuring their safety. Zahir guides Will to a meeting with his family, who he had thought he lost forever. The reunion is deeply emotional, with tears and hugs mending their broken bonds. They also welcome Lucia warmly into their fold. Their peace is interrupted by Will's contemplation of a job offer from the CIA, leaving his future uncertain. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.